Well, folks, Cerebral Tackle back with you again today here after a little bit of an absence. You know, transgender people in sports tends to be a bit of a hot button issue these days. Well, now it's made its way into fishing in England. So, let's get right to it. Now, real quick before we get started, I want to say something short about politics. They don't belong on this channel. I don't care what a person believes, what side of the aisle they're on, politics don't belong in fishing. Why? Because when we don't look at each other's political leanings, we see each other as anglers. That's the way it should be. Why? Because what we're supposed to have in common is that we're fishermen and we love the sport of fishing. So please, I beg of you, no politics in the comments section. I won't allow it. I'm sorry if you don't like that, but my channel, my rules. Let's leave the politics out of it and let's enjoy the sport of fishing together. All right? So, on to the subject. Now, in 2018, England's AnglingTrust, which is the governing body that selects their national fishing teams, chose their 2018 National Ladies Shore Fishing Team. The participants of this team had to try out and be selected by the governing body for a spot on this national team. Now, among the members on the 2018 team was a teacher from the Marsh Academy who teaches food technology. Her name, Becky Lee Birtwhistle Hodges, as seen here in this picture with the red circle around her. Now, Becky Lee is also a transgender woman who first started her transition back in 2015. Now, see, back in 2018, the team was happy to have her. As a matter of fact, that team went and competed in the World Championships where they won the bronze medal. But that's where things started to take a left-hand turn. At the medal presentation, when the team went up to the stage to accept their bronze medal, well, some other countries got up, walked out, some refused to clap, shake their hands. It ended up being kind of a deal. It was after this rude treatment at the medal ceremony that one of their star anglers, a lady by the name of Wendy Metcalf, said, you know what, screw it, I'm leaving. But I kind of get the idea she might have stayed in touch with the other anglers, and who knows, was maybe even poking the fire to see if others would join her. Like I said, all this happened back in 2018. Fast forward to last year, 2022. The team went to their home nation's event, won the gold medal. So this year, 2023, they're set to go back and defend it. Well, this is where things really go downhill. Remember Wendy Metcalf I told you about? Well, she's been speaking out about this subject pretty consistently, and it looks like she may have got into the current captain's ear, a lady by the name of Heather Lent. Because here they are preparing to go back and defend that gold medal, and what happens? The captain and two other ladies of the 6-member team tap out and quit. So, 3 of the 6-member team, done, gone, don't want to fish. So they're not going to be making it back to be defending their home nation's gold medal. But you know who that screws? How about the 3 people that wanted to fish, that are still standing by the team? The team's dead. So then, Metcalf and Lent go on this national campaign. All to bash Becky Lee. They say they're not bashing her, but they're saying stuff like, she has hands of shovels and other crap. Anyway, guess what? They go on the Piers Morgan show. Piers Morgan, Uncensored, I think it is. You remember Piers Morgan, right? You know, the guy seen here auditioning for his next network job. Now, former team captain Lent is just way too giddy to have her 15 minutes of fame on one of their nationally broadcasted shows. There's a couple of seconds where she doesn't realize she's on camera yet, and she can be seen just doing this. And then the second she realizes she's on camera, it's hilarious. Go check it out. Now, one of the claims that Lent made on the Piers Morgan show was that the typical conditions, can cast 100 yards. What? You know, it takes the most extreme, perfect circumstances of the planets aligning to cast 100 yards. I don't care what equipment you're having. So I think that's a bit of a bloated claim. Meanwhile, Metcalf, the other lady, said that Becky Lee needs to put all of her energy into creating her own transgender league, completely segregating her from everybody else. I know some women bass anglers here in the United States that would take a little bit of an issue with that. Meanwhile, the host, Piers Morgan, oh, he's all full of fake passion and rah, rah, rah. Well, for the ladies, it was their 15 minutes of fame, and for Piers Morgan, it's what he likes. Sensationalism and ratings. Now, Becky Lee started her transition back in 2015 before getting her surgery to complete the transition in 2018. A lady by the name of Anna Valens published an article in an online publication called The Mary Sue, where she kind of went into the transitioning effects of estrogen on the male body. She spoke about how the high doses of estrogen needed to transition actually reduces a man's muscle mass, reduces strength, and increases body fat in a man that's transitioning to a female. In addition, the inclusion of Becky Lee to the national team had already been investigated by the AnglingTrust, the governing body that I told you about earlier. Jamie Cook, the chief executive of the AnglingTrust, said that when Becky Lee very first joined the team, the issue was thoroughly investigated, and she was deemed to not have any advantage. They looked at things like casting distance. They looked at things like how to tie rigs, your shore craft, which is what rig to use in one situation, bait selection. They went over the whole kit and caboodle, investigated, and deemed that Becky Lee did not have any advantage for the team. Meanwhile, for the ladies speaking out, there could be a whole nother issue. There's two policies. One has to do with equity, diversity, and inclusion, and the other is the anti-bullying policy. And it looks like by them asking the governing body to exclude Becky Lee after the investigation's been complete, they're rubbing up against that inclusion policy. By going on Piers Morgan, saying she has shovel hands and talking trash, well, the bullying policy kicks in. If they ever want to fish on the national team again, it might be time they shut their pie holes. Now, no matter what your feelings are on the issues of transgender people in sports, here's my take. First off, Becky Lee was chosen and included after the investigation on her being a transgender person was already completed and there was deemed to be no advantage. Second, her teammates knew she was a transgender person when she was on the team, and they had zero problem until they won the bronze medal, and then other teams started maybe snubbing their nose at them a little bit. She was good enough to help get you bronze though, right? Meanwhile, that teammate that left back in 2018, she's been stomping her feet and shaking her fist at the sky ever since that Becky was included on the team. Well, since they went to the home nations tournament last year, won gold medal, then we're set to go back and defend it this year without that former teammate. To me, her screaming and yelling and stomping her fist sounds a whole lot like sour grapes and the fact that she gave up her spot and wasn't there to participate. At the end of the day, this is supposed to be about fishing. And to the other ladies that left the team this year, that team captain and two of the others leaving just half the team behind, fight for your teammates. What the hell? I mean, you got the gold medal at the Nationals last year with her, so now you're just going to kind of peel away and leave a teammate high and dry? I'm sorry, in my personal opinion, that same governing body who chose Becky Lee to be a part of the team chose those other ladies too for their respective skills. And once the decision's been made to include the person, that's your teammate. You go to war with your teammate. You fight for your teammate. To sit there and say, good enough to get us to gold, but I'm not going to go defend it with him. I got my gold medal and all, but that's just some sorry crap right there. And like I've said earlier, I've known plenty of women that would compete every day against the men when it comes to professional bass fishing. As a matter of fact, when I grew up, there was a little convenience store down the road from where I lived. There was a lady there that competed against the men every weekend. I loved to go up there and talk with her about fishing. Why? She knew her stuff. She was freaking awesome. And the guys she laid waste to every single year en route to her championship, the list was a mile long. So I'm sure someone like that would be pretty freaking offended at all this. Why? They compete no matter who it is. And it's about the competition. In a team sport, it's about sticking with your team. So at the end of the day, in my personal opinion, I don't think this has anything to do with one teammate having that much of an advantage over the other teammates. Why? Well, you only got the World Championships bronze one year. I don't hear of any medals since then, except for the national gold medal last year. So where's all that advantage at? So I think it's a lot less of being about an advantage and more about riding a hot button issue to your 15 minutes of fame at the expense of a teammate who is chosen not by you, but at the same governing body that chose you. It is what it is. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope it was informative. Please do me a solid. Please comment, like, share, subscribe. Until next time we meet, get out there, keep it wet.